Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Facing a critical staffing shortage, Melvindale police officers go public with their problems.
We are burned out. Morale has been dead for years. We are physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted.
Staffing shortages are, of course, common right now, but officers in Melvindale say they are losing officers at an alarming rate because of a benefits and pay package not competitive with fellow downriver communities.
And they say that's led to forced overtime. Mara McDonald is live in Melvindale tonight. Mara, recruiting for police agencies is really tough everywhere.
It really is, Kimberly. I mean, it's an issue nationally, and it's really an issue here. You talk to the officers here, they say that they've hit the wall. But here's the other problem. The residents of Melvindale already have 24 mills on that tax bill. And that city council has made it clear that going back to the residents for more money, just not going to happen.
We are now at the point of being completely and utterly uncompetitive. We are unable to attract, hire, or retain enough officers to even come close to properly staffing our 24-officer department.
Melvindale has determined that 24 officers is a staffing level that is optimal. Currently, they have 17, with 2 of those positions being administrative, and the officers working the daily grind feel it, enforced overtime that is taking a toll.
For you to come up here and act like we're not doing anything. We did more than any other council.
Members of city council did not appreciate finding all this out at a meeting and felt attacked until more veteran members of the department explained nobody viewed the council as the problem.
I have nothing against this body, either does the police department. We just want to be seen. We're at a critical point in our police department right now.
The immediate problem is how to attract and retain new officers. The starting pay is competitive. What isn't is when that officer hits the 5-year mark. The difference in salary between downriver departments is astonishing. So is the retirement package. Melvindale does not offer a pension. That went away more than 10 years ago.
If this police department is allowed to collapse, which it is on the verge of doing, I can assure you this community will be right behind it.
Back here live after the meeting tonight, some of the department members, some of the council members got together and said, okay, so what would potentially be something that could work here? The idea floated, well, you know, their contract isn't supposed to be opened up for another year, year and a half. Could they reopen the contract, renegotiate, and try and do something that way? Right now, that looks to be the best option on the table. We're live in Melvindale tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara, thanks.
Now, breaking news just in on Detroit's west side, where state police are investigating a violent crash involving a motorcyclist.
Right now, the westbound lanes of I-96 at Evergreen are shut down. Tim Pamplin is there with the night cam.
We're just arriving on the scene here. Evergreen overpass of I-96 westbound lanes. As we zoom in down here, you see several motorcycles on the left, one down on the right. A body, I believe, with a blanket just been placed over it on the shoulder there. Again, this is the westbound lanes of I-96, the local lanes. You've got the express lanes on the right, the Evergreen exit on the left. But again, 96 westbound shut down in the local lanes after what appears to be a fatal motorcycle collision. Updates throughout the night at clickondetroit.com. For now, on the west side with the night cam, Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
All right, Tim, an emotional night in Redford Township with the family of 6-year-old Chase Young coming together to honor his life. He was hit and dragged by a car last week while riding his bicycle. The driver never stopped to check on him. Pamela Osborne live at Vassar Drive in Brady. That's where tonight's vigil was held. And Pam, that family now grieving after Chase died from those injuries.
Devin, you're right. His injuries were significant, but he held on as long as he could. His family now vowing to fight like Chase.
He fought very, very hard as a child, and he had the will to live.
Grief hangs here at Brady and Vassar. A week after Chase Young was struck by a hit-and-run driver, he died from his injuries.
I want you to put your arms around this mother and this father, Lord, as they have to bury their 6-year-old, Lord.
It's been real hard. I'm trying to be strong for my sister.
Alexis is Chase's aunt.
Chase was an amazing kid. Amazing. He brightened everybody's day.
funny, busy?
He was a busy kid, funny, always had people laughing, full of life, yes.
On Wednesday, family, friends, and neighbors gathered to honor his young life. Among the mourners, 2 firefighters who responded to the scene that night. They tell us they wanted to pay their respects. They leaned on each other by candlelight and all at once let go. It's been tough, even tougher given the circumstances.
It doesn't make sense that someone would be so reckless and so unaccountable that they would drive and know that they hit something that was actually a moving person and didn't stop.
The family now picking up Chase's fight and carrying it forward in their search for justice.
You're the person who did this. You're responsible, man, woman. Turn yourself in.
And if you know anything, if you have any information at all about the person who was behind the wheel of that car, give police a call. The family has established a GoFundMe account to help with funeral expenses. We have a link to that GoFundMe on our website, clickondetroit.com. Reporting live in Redford tonight, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
All right, Pam. The battle over abortion rights in Michigan continues tomorrow in Pontiac. Today, lawyers argued over a restraining order preventing prosecutors from charging people under Michigan's 1931 ban on abortions. The judge issued that restraining order at Governor Whitmer's request when an appeals court ruled prosecutors could enforce the ban if they choose to do so. If the court order is lifted, it would mean county prosecutors could enforce that law. Some have said they would refuse to do so, meaning the legality of abortion could vary from county to county. Outside the courtroom, protesters on both sides made their voices heard.
If it falls in our favor, we will be putting pressure on these prosecutors. The abortion clinics that are located in particular counties need to be closed.
By choice. I'm a mother for choice. I almost died when I had my son. And I know that if I carried another pregnancy to term, I would very likely die.
There are 3 witnesses left to go when court resumes tomorrow morning at 9:30.
More than 130,000 Metro Detroiters remain under a boil water advisory for a 5th straight day. Great Lakes Water Authority is now asking residents in all 23 communities that were initially told to boil water to now hold off on watering their lawns. Crews worked throughout the day trying to stabilize that broken pipe so that it can be removed. The replacement pipe is expected to arrive on Tuesday of next week, but the timeline on fixing it all remains at 3 weeks.
2 men who pleaded guilty in the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer took the stand today in a new trial.
Ty Garbin testified the FBI in no way entrapped the men who were members of the Wolverine Watchmen. He did admit he agreed to help prosecutors in exchange for a lighter prison sentence for himself. The other man who pleaded guilty, Caleb Franks, told the jury Adam Fox planned the Whitmer kidnapping and that it's all Fox and Barry Croft Jr. talked about. Fox and Croft are now being retried. The first jury failed to reach a verdict in their cases. Trial continues tomorrow morning.
The CDC is searching for the source of E. coli that has sickened people in Michigan and Ohio. The agency reports 29 people were sickened in both states between July 26th and August 6th. Yesterday, the state health department reported 98 cases in Kent, Ottawa, and Oakland counties for the month of August. Genetic markers on the bacteria show all the patients likely got sick from eating the same food.
New tonight, more marijuana facilities could be coming soon to Inkster. Moments ago, City Council approved 5 more applicants in addition to the 3 businesses already operating in the city. 6 applicants pleaded their case before City Council tonight. 1 of them was denied. But some residents expressed concerns about placement of these facilities within the city's 6 square miles. That would be 8, as that I've just mentioned. The proposals will head to the Planning Commission next before they set up shop.